Super excited
There you go. I got you recorded now. What's up, Eddie?
Perfect.
This is my buddy right here, Eddy Charger.
What's going on? Man, I'm super excited to be here. It's a long time coming. I know we've been working on some things behind the scenes, but this was definitely one that we got to make sure we open up to the community, because if everybody always knows this, and if not, this is something that we can start the lesson with here, right? Wealth is created by timing, right? It's all about having the right time. If you look at any of the big box companies that you know of, right? If you look at any of the big box real estate people that we know, right? They all created wealth, where they all started off at the right time frame ahead of the pack, and then the windfall came, right? And that's what catapults it. And I think that's where we're at with this market in real estate, especially if you're doing creative, especially if you understand different ways to be able to exit on a property, which I think every investor should be able to know different exit strategies. If you are, a real estate agent, for example, I absolutely love agents. In fact, soon I'm going to be doing a teaching course where I'm teaching agents how to be able to identify creative opportunities, how to perform on them, and how to be able to work with investors to be able to sell those deals. And I think that's super important, because a lot of agents don't understand how much money they're missing because they don't notice one important thing as an entrepreneur. All of you that are on here, and I see a few people that I know personally on here, and shout outs to all you guys. Wow, Dustin's in here, golly. Andrew is in here, my boy Josh. But all of you that are in here, you all are entrepreneurs, right? At best, at the core, when you pull everything else away, you're an entrepreneur. And the number one thing that an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur, knows is how to pivot, right? You understand that this market is not going to stay the same. You understand that this business is not going to stay the same. I'll give you guys a real life example. All right, here we go. Yesterday, Twitter was the only Twitter that ever existed. There wasn't another platform that even came close to Twitter, okay? In less than 24 hours, Facebook, Meta, has released a new platform. In less than 24 hours, it has 10 million people on that platform.
Jeez.
All right? It's about understanding how to pivot. I would have known, Dustin would have known. 30 million.
Yeah,
I saw that 10 million. That was at 12 noon today. So it's grown another 20 million in a span of 6 hours or so. And this is think how crazy that is. Now, they do have the upper hand. It is Facebook. It's the same company that owns Instagram, and et cetera, et cetera. But the point is, you got to know how to pivot. If you don't know how to pivot, that's the only way you lose in this space. Well, I'm lying. If you don't know how to pivot, you're going to lose. But if you don't know how to take action, you definitely going to lose. That's just the bottom line. And tonight's topic, man, PadSplit. PadSplit is a company that learned how to pivot. And because of them learning how to pivot, they reached the point of all successful businesses, or businesses that at least have like the point where you're like, oh, okay, you guys are serious. They hit that 5-year mark, right? I found out about PadSplit 3 years ago, right? They were just babies. And at the time, PadSplit wasn't that sexy because Airbnb was killing, right? Like you can get in the Airbnb space. I still have buddies of mine that are killing it in Airbnb, even more now with all the laws and et cetera, right? But PadSplit is a different beast, and that's what I really am super excited to jump in and share with you guys all these things. I'm actually, I wish I had the ability to share my computer so I can show you guys a couple of things. But I already spoke with Carlos. Anything that I talk about, I'll send it over to him and he'll distribute it to you guys. in addition to that, I'll definitely come back and, we can do like a full on. In fact, what I want to do, Carlos, is when I come back, I'll come back with some of the deals that we're currently working on, and I'll do the whole A to Z from how we got the deal and how the whole thing's kind of rolled through. Now that it's a finished progress or whatever like that. But nothing's off the table, nothing's off the book. We can definitely still bring it up and talk about it tonight.
No, that's exciting. I appreciate it, and definitely understand I know sometimes internet's crap or whatever, but yeah, when you come back, let's go ahead and look over it, and maybe, who knows, maybe I got one already ready to go. Like I said,
we're definitely gonna get you one for sure.
I have one in my portfolio right now that we're already looking at with so that's why I'm like, I might have one ready to go from when you come back. One of my own in my portfolio. We're already looking at it.
Perfect. Yeah. Listen, it's so crazy because everybody that's here does real estate, right? And I want to kind of make things clear, because I think you guys are a whole different breed. I mean, first of all, you're connected with Carlos. Carlos is a different breed, so let's just leave that, right? But you guys are all a different breed because you understand real estate in a way that most investors, traditional investors, just they don't get it, right? Like, I met an investor the other day. Okay, we started having a conversation, and I'm like, so how do you find your properties? And you know what he told me? He told me he goes to the courthouse steps. Period. That was it. That's how he finds his property. Oh, sometimes he has an agent that sends him deals. So now when he asked me, how do I find my property? And I start telling him about how we do what we do, marketing, etc. This guy was speechless. He's blown away, right? Because we understand marketing, how to be able to get directly with the seller to be able to get deals that he can't even comprehend where they even start, right? And that gives you guys have superpowers because of that. Like, I really want to drive that point home. You guys have superpowers because you understand how to market and how to communicate with sellers to find deals. The other crazy thing about it is that same investor that I'm talking to you about, even if I wanted to teach him, he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. I'm saying, like, look, I'll teach you for free. He wouldn't do it. And the reason why he wouldn't do it is because he's so used to doing what he's been doing for so long, and he does not want to deal with what we talk to sellers because that's part of the game.
Yeah. We
don't know no different. For him, talking to a seller is like, oh man, I gotta talk to the seller. What if they got tenants? I gotta deal with most investors, what they like to do is do exactly what you see on TV. That whole HGTV vibe, they come in, the house is already empty, they can get their crew in there, start work. That's the vision of a traditional investor, right? And so because of that, we all pivoted as investors and learned how to master something that they did not want to deal with. Now, I brought all that up so I can bring up Pad Split. The reason why I am doubling down on Pad Split is because Pad Split is solving a problem that every nation, every state in this nation is suffering with, which is affordable housing, right? We can't build houses fast enough. We don't have the materials, even if we could. And at the rate that we're going now, in Atlanta alone, if someone wanted to get on the affordable housing program, they have to wait 7 years. 7 years, not to get into a house, to join the program. Then you have to wait till we find it. 7 years
on the program,
just to get on the program,
bro. What the hell's that gonna help somebody who's in dire need as of now?
That's how backed up affordable housing is now. Why is it so backed up? And this is something else that you guys should know. Now, when I say affordable housing, I'm talking Pad Split, I'm talking Section 8, I'm talking all those things, VA programs. The reason why they're so backed up is because affordable housing has changed in the traditional sense. It's not the same definition that we've known before, like, oh, lower income, et cetera, et cetera. That's not it. Affordable housing is very generic. It's for people who cannot afford a home. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed, like I've noticed, there are so many people who make great money, but they cannot afford a home. There are so many people who used to have a family, all their kids have left. Now it's just them in this big old house, and they don't need the house anymore. So they want to move to a nursing home facility or assisted living facility. And guess what? All of those are backed. All of those are full, 3 years waiting. So where does this person go? Well, they can get assistance from the government. What assistance? Affordable housing. That's what these programs are for. So it's not just the, oh, yeah, I don't want to deal with Section 8, or I don't want to deal with, because it's this, yep, assisted living is not cheap. Y'all should look up these prices. It is wow. So even if they had the money, they couldn't afford it for a long period of time. So you have a lot of people that are now part of this affordable housing program, which is what's straining it even more. Okay, Pad Split is probably the only one that is operating at the level that it's operating, that is efficient, and that is truly making an impact, which is another reason why I'm behind it, because Airbnb was killing it. And then what happened? The laws started to change, right? But who knows who made the laws change? Let's get into politics real quick. Who do you think the cities, like for example, Atlanta, Decatur is one of a very large cities, they were killing it. People love Decatur, right? The city of Atlanta, people love to come to the city of Atlanta. You know how much tax dollars they were getting? All the tourism and stuff like that. The city didn't want to put these laws up. Hotels.
Makes sense.
They lobbied
businesses, yeah.
Yep. The hotels lobbied. They put their money up. Hey, I want you to set these laws in place for me. All right, I can't have them taking away my money. Coming off of COVID, it's got worse, right? So what happened? This is how gangster. Hotels and that whole gangster, right? They put the law in place. If you go to Airbnb right now, you will find some of your big box name hotels with Airbnbs. Isn't that crazy? They made the law so that the regular folk can't participate anymore. But now the hotels can. And hotels, yeah, if you do participate, you got to pay hotel tax. You got to pay, some cities have bread and breakfast.
You got to pay a hotel tax. For real?
They pivot. The
hotels
pivot.
Shit, bro. That's some Italian mafia shit, bro. That is the fucking cartel knocking on your door saying, give me my cut. Those sons of bitches.
Yep. Now, here's the thing. I was talking to some people. I have a lot of people that's reaching out that want to invest, right? They either want to invest in this or they want to partner with me, right, and get some properties. And one of the questions that they asked was like, well, what happens if what happened to Airbnb happens to Pad Split? Here's why. I understand the question, but here's why that's the wrong question. It's the wrong question because who will be the person that's trying to fight Pad Split? It's not in hotels lane.
That's true.
Hotels, it's not. We're not even. It's not like Walmart versus Target. It's like it's two total separate different things. We're not even talking about the same thing, right? The average stay for a Pad Split tenant is 10 months. That is not hotel. That is not Airbnb. That is midterm / long-term tenant, right? The other thing is most every major city has affordable housing problem as a big ticket on their docket. PadSplit is a company that can come into a city and completely start to put a big dent in those numbers, which means now if I'm the mayor and I was having affordable housing issues, we know it's a big issue, and now all of a sudden it's not as big of an issue, well, I can use that. I can take that and say, hey, look, under my reign over the last 2 years, look what we did with affordable housing. So again, it's all about pivoting and it's about leveraging. PadSplit created a system where they could leverage properties. And I'm going to talk to you guys about the types of properties in just a few seconds. They can leverage properties to solve a huge problem. Now, here's a crazy thing about this. This was really going to blow you guys' mind. The average person makes somewhere about $20 an hour. Okay. You have to make $20 an hour in order to be able to afford a 1-bedroom apartment or rent. Okay. You have to, like the math just says, like if you're making $17 an hour, you can't afford rent. In Atlanta alone, if you bought a studio in Atlanta, it is $1,800 a month. $1,800 a month. Most people cannot afford to buy, to rent out property on their own, right? People who live in houses by themselves, those houses that, oh, yeah, I own a home now, and it's just that one person, whatever, they're grossly overpaying for the property that they're not even using. Even though they own the home, they're essentially throwing money away because there are spaces in their home that they rarely even see.
True. You
go in there every once in a while, right? So what am I saying? On one side, you have a bunch of people who are making $20 or less, who cannot afford regular 1-bedroom or studio apartment. On the other side, you have all these homes where you have people who traditionally would have had a big family or would have had more people involved and living in the house. That's not the case anymore. So you have all these houses that essentially were being used by one person. And now you can take one house, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and you can turn it into a 5-6 bedroom and be able to solve problems back and forth, right? That's the key to PadSplit. That's what makes PadSplits so freaking amazing. Just to give you guys some numbers, 7.5 million Americans are low income renters nationwide. 7.5. All right. I want to give you guys numbers so that you guys can be able to see just how big this is. This is why this isn't like, oh, well, yeah, let's just run it up because eventually they're going to shut it down. This isn't one of those they're going to shut it down thing. This right here is here to stay. In the last 5 years, they kind of worked out all the kinks, all the extra stuff. Now, especially if you know how to do creative deals, it's time to make a killing. Time to make a killing because every PadSplit property that you get, you essentially can 3x. You can 3x what your normal rent would be. And I'll talk about that a little bit more. Let me pull up for a little bit. Carlos, any questions or anything I just said, or anybody got any questions or need insight?
I mean, I have a series of questions, but I think you're going to answer them anyways. Like about, how do you market for it as far as when you get the property, right? To get the tenants in there. Do I need any special permits and licensings to do this? And obviously a couple other questions, but I think you're going to cover them. But if not, the most important ones were, how do you get the people in there, right? Like, let's say I can identify I want to do this. there's a certain strategy to market to get these people inside? Is there a website like Airbnb? Questions like that. Though I know some of these questions,
Yeah.
I'm asking for the general, right? Like, hey,
No, those are good.
great.
Those are good. Hold those questions, because I'm not going to remember all of them, and we'll run them through. Right. So essentially, what I've done so far is just kind of explain how Passsplit it's a win-win for everybody. Right. It provides low-income housing that's desperately needed right now, and also helping landlords to be able to. And one of their slogans is to do well, do good. Right. You're helping solving a problem, but it's also allowing you to be able to do way better than you would taking care of your mortgage, taxes, insurance, and all those other things, right? And you can, now let me be clear, you do not have to do this with Passsplit. You can do this without Passsplit. Passsplit is very similar to Airbnb. It's just a tool. Okay, they offer a little bit better than Airbnb as far as their like management, because they do have a management side of things as well, which is really, really good. So you can be hands off, and that management handles in fact, think of it this way. If you buy or get a property, however it is, you're going to put it on Passsplit. Your responsibility is property management. Anything that has to do with the property itself, that's on you as an investor. Everything else, Passsplit takes care of it. Finding the tenants, screening the tenants, taking care of management, taking care of the funds every week, and then paying out. All of that stuff is handled by Passsplit. You decide if you want to be able to have more details on what's going on, or you can be completely hands off. It works either way, right? But that's essentially how it works. Most of the properties that you're going to find for Passsplit, right? Like as far as criteria goes, what you want to do is you want to look for 3-bedroom, 2-bath, at least 1,000 square feet. Now, this can differ depending on the market that you're in. So for example, if you're in Tampa, Florida, houses are a little bit smaller than in Atlanta. And in Tampa, for example, those small houses do very, very well on Passsplit, right? So, and when I say small, I'm not saying like a 500 square feet or something like that, or 600 square feet. But let's say you're like 900 square feet, something like that. You can get away and still be able to do well. Now,
wow.
Let's actually take some real life examples, right? So let's say you have a property right now. One of the first things that you can do is you can go to the website. Passsplit has a website, and we'll get you guys the link and everything like that. When you go to the website, you can actually use their, if you got like a duplex or a fourplex, you're running up. But let me show you how to be able to do it.
You could run those up.
Yeah, I have partners of mine who's in the process now of looking to turn small multifamilies into straight Passplits, like 12 units and under, straight Passplits.
Oh, bro! Wow.
Yeah. So listen. Let me give you guys the A to Z so you can get the full picture. You find a property. And we'll talk about acquisitions in just a second. But you find a property. You go to Passsplit.com, or you go to your rep. Like for me, my rep is Shani. She's here in Atlanta, and I can go to her and say, "Hey, here's a property I found. I think it might be good for Passsplit. Tell me what you think." Now, there are certain rules that you got to make sure. First and foremost, make sure there's no HOAs. Just makes sense, right? You don't want HOA smoke. You don't want to take that battle fighting them. Be somewhere that's not HOA. You can also find out from your city. Certain cities will tell you, like, hey, we really have a big issue with 6 people living in a three-bedroom house, right? Some counties be like, we don't really care. Just just do good, but we don't really care what you do. Right. So that's good to know. If your county is one of those where it's like, we have a big issue with it, tread lightly. Right. If your county is like, we don't care, it's open season. Go to work. Right. But you find your property, go on to Passsplit. And the reason why you're going to Passsplit is because Passsplit actually has a calculator that will give you a estimated account of how much money you can expect to make off of your property. So if it's a 3-bedroom, it'll show you exactly like, all right, well, here's what you can convert this to. And if you convert it to a 5 or 6-bedroom, then here's what your expenses will be, because your expenses are going to go up. Think about it, more people in the house, right? Here's what your fees will be, and here's what you're going to be left with. Here's the difference, right? And it's a big, big difference. Passwood also takes into account your renovations, because you're going to turn rooms into, you're going to put walls up so you can create more rooms, right? So the living room is now a bedroom. The only room that actually matters is the kitchen. All right, you can't put a bedroom in the kitchen, just in case somebody was like, nah, they don't need to eat. They do, they need that space. All right, so you can turn every room, but the benefit, I think this is what's amazing about this, right? The benefit is PadSplit actually has, like, for example, not tomorrow, because it didn't work for my schedule, but on Monday, we actually have a PadSplit vendor, it's a contractor, that's going to come to a property that we were in the middle of doing a reno on it. They're going to come to the property. They're going to tell us, hey, look, here's where I would put this wall up. Here's the room I would do. They're going to give you the insight. So not only you can look at it from the numbers standpoint, but you can have an expert come in and say, here's how I would turn this into a 4 or 5-bedroom plus, right? And each room, typically on average, is like $5K, right? That's putting up the wall, you know, some furnishing and things of that nature, right? So you, in the spreadsheet that they give you, they also include what your renovation costs would be. So you see the full picture of exactly how much you'd be putting in, how much are your monthly expenses, and how much are you expected to get out of this thing. And it's truly, truly amazing. Like, it's legit. It's wild. So that's how it looks like from A to Z. So if you green light it from that point on, they come in. Here's the best part. They'll come in and they'd be like, all right, let's say it takes you, I don't know, 20 days or less to do your rehab. I don't know. It depends on your contractors, right? But let's say it takes you 20 days or less, right? In most cities that PadSplit is already in, it will take them 3 days on average to get somebody into their property. I'm talking about in their rooms. 3 days. Do you have to use PadSplit's contractors? No, you do not. You can use your own contractors, which I would probably recommend if you already have that, you know what I mean? Then absolutely use your own. Is there any city codes that would be an issue? Absolutely not, because the rehab that you're doing, the work that you're doing, you're putting up a wall. It's like a removable wall, right? It's no different than this wall back here, right? That's a wall that they just put up, which is great. Because let's say, for example, at the end of this all, I'm like, hey, look, I made a killing off this thing. I made $100K. I want to sell it. The market is great right now. The property value appreciated by $400,000. I want to sell it right now. The only work that you got to do is come in and knock out walls. It takes literally 1 day to put up a wall and 1 day to take a wall out. That's how great it is. So, if this required more renovation work, I probably wouldn't be interested.
Nice.
Right? Now, what's the main differences between PadSplit and other sharing houses? There are a bunch of them that's out there. Again, you can run this yourself. Here's why I like them with PadSplit. I'm looking to build a portfolio. I do not want to spend time or focus on the day-to-day stuff or dealing with tenants and et cetera, because that's not the space that I'm in right now. Right now, I am building a portfolio. I'm actually working on setting up a sequence so I can show people, if you go out and purchase X amount of properties, put them on PadSplit, you'll be making $5K a month, guaranteed every month. right? So that's why I'm involved in it. Now, the reason why I'm working with PassSplit exclusively is because there's certain things PassSplit does. So for example, PassSplit gives each client a private lockable room. Okay, it's keyless access, but there's also a key that you have access to. Everybody has access to the kitchen or the laundry room. Most other sharing houses don't have that. It's literally just like straight rooms. You could have the possibility of a private bathroom or shared bathroom. The people who have private bathrooms, guess what? They're paying you more per month. PassSplit offers its tenants furnishings, which you offer. PassSplit also offers utilities and Wi-Fi. There's access. PassSplit does this. They give them access to telemedicine. Telemedicine, y'all. This is why the people who are clients, well, I should not clients, I'm sorry. The people who are members, so that the tenants that are in, this is why they stay so long, because they get so many extra benefits from being able to stay in a PassSplit. They get access to telemedicine. They get job matching services.
Wow.
They get positive rent payment that's reported. So while they're there, they get to get help building their credit. Why do they get telemedicine? Because remember, Judy, some of these individuals are working jobs and they don't have enough to get insurance. Or some of these individuals have to figure out, okay, what am I going to choose? Do I go get an apartment so I can have a roof over my head? Or do I get insurance so that I can make sure I'm covered if anything happens? This is the reality that some people have. It's crazy. Wow. It's crazy, right? And then they also they get access to, there's like a micro loan type of program that they have. I mean, listen, PassSplit does what they need to do for us, but they go above and beyond what they need to do for the members, which is what makes it such a good program, right? Those members they have a referral program. So, you know, if I work at Chuck E. Cheese and I go to work and my man's like, yeah, I'm looking for a spot. I'm like, yo, I'll stay at a PassSplit. I only pay for the room. It's cheap, it's quick, easy, boom, boom, boom. Oh, I bet, yeah, put me on. Now they get a referral and you get a new client or a new member. Right? Now they still go through the same process. They still gotta get checked out through PassSplit, background check, all this other extra stuff. Are you working? Blah, 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 blah. But you don't have to do that. Now, again, if you want to step in and be like, hey, I want to see, let me do the last minute vote, yes or no, whatever. Absolutely. They can be as hands-on or as hands-off as you want them to.
Wow. That's amazing. Andrea, I got a question. What's up, Andrea?
Okay, I got a couple. I was
let's
multitasking, so I wasn't 100% listening. But do you give them social areas, or is it just you give them social areas, or you just give them like a kitchen, their bedroom, and a bathroom and laundry room? Do you give like a living room area, like a social area, or no?
No, so you don't give them social areas. The best PassSplit is they have hallways, bathrooms, and they have a kitchen. It's the best path. That's the best path.
Okay.
Right, because all the areas that you're saying that like should they have a social area, that easily could have been turned into 1 or 2 bedrooms.
Right. No. Right. Okay. No, I was just remembering. I think Abraham was talking about it, and it might have been PassSplit, where he said he takes everything. The living room makes it into like 2 bedrooms. He only has like a small kitchen area, the bedrooms, the bathrooms, and that's it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So now you're also mentioning like low income, like people who can't afford it. So are you putting these mostly in lower income areas?
No, that's the thing. They're all like, you can't tell a PassSplit house. Like you can drive by and you cannot tell from the outside, like, oh yeah, this is a neighborhood. It must be PassSplits in here. It just doesn't exist. Now, there's some neighborhoods that should, like for example, in Atlanta, there's an area called Buckhead. Okay, very high end. it just wouldn't make sense, right? Like, why would there be affordable housing in a high-end area? Majority of the people that's here can afford a house, right? So it just wouldn't make sense there. But for the most part, they're going to be everywhere except those areas right there.
Yeah, no, I understand. I worked in a homeless shelter and it was you wouldn't know it. It was just on a street in a neighborhood with regular residents. I mean, they knew it, but you wouldn't know it if you drove by. Last question was you mentioned like 10 months is their average stay. Are they limited? Like, does PadSplit try to transition them out, or that's just 10 months? Like, what do they do after 10 months if they're
no? So they're not limited. They can stay longer than that. That just happens to be like the average stay. When you look at it like this too, right? Like, these are individuals who are, wasn't making enough money. Now that they have a PadSplit, they can save a lot more.
okay?
They're getting telemedicine, so they don't have to necessarily pay for insurance right now. They can save a lot more again. And they are getting positive things going towards their credit because they're paying rent essentially.
Okay.
So, in a period of time, most of them are going to be like, hey, I'm ready now. I have enough money. I've done the steps. My credit's built up. I can go get my own house now. Right. So typically that happens. And then you have some people that's just like, no, this is pretty good. I'm gonna stay put. Right. And they stay longer. I've met
Oh, Eddie.
We lost them.
Lost you. This is Juice, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is exciting. I'm so stoked. We're working on one right now that I have in Texas, 2021 build. 4-bed. Is it? Yeah, 4-bed, 3-bath. It's nice. It's like 1,700 square feet. Basically, I took it over sub 2. A new wed couple got a divorce like 3 months after they bought the new build and couldn't sell it without taking a discount or pay the agent. So I came in and grabbed it.
Cool.
Yeah, we're gonna look at it tomorrow and see if it works. This is after hearing this, I didn't know exactly all the benefits of it. Very, very cool. Oh, Eddie jumped out. Let's see. He'll have a chance to come back in. So what's up? What does everybody think so far? What do you guys think? You guys can turn on your cameras. Cool. I know some of you guys are driving or doing things or whatever. Maybe don't have makeup on, ladies. Whatever. Don't matter to me. But what do you guys think so far, huh? You guys excited?
That's some great stuff, especially when they can build up their credit. That is so important.
It's a win-win, right? For people who need a little help. Like I was telling somebody in my team today, Rick, we're working a lead that's in the foreclosure, and we just put it on contract. We're about to do Renovation. Well, what's great about working properties in foreclosure, which I told the homeowner this, I told them, what's great about working with, situations like this is we get to work with homeowners and help them out through a situation. When somebody's in good standing on their feet, if they decide to sell me their property at a really good discount and they notice it later, that's on them. Right here, we try to help people out. And so nice because you get to truly help out the community, and then look at the benefits. It's not just about money, how they get that access to medicine because maybe they don't get the full-time or benefits at their job to be able to afford insurance and things like that. Very cool. I like it a lot.
I'm thinking about the benefits of creative. The numbers are usually always so tight, and that's what usually makes it difficult. But if on the back end that you're going to be able to put 4 or 5 people into that property, you don't have to negotiate so hard on the what you're getting paid per month. So I think that could be a real benefit for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that when you look at it like a Airbnb property, that the goal would be to at least have it cash flow or break even on the long-term rental side of things. Like, you don't want a property that you look at it as a long-term rental and it's negative $400, and then you go and do short-term rental or mid-term rental because it could take time to build reviews, put money into it, and you already owe these payments. So it's like, if you can get something to break even, so like on a worst case scenario, you could just rent it out long-term and you don't got to lose money, even better. That would be a way to look at it. Does that make sense? Well, it looks, let me see. I'm gonna call Eddie, see if he's out. 1 second, guys.
Do you have any idea what kind of fees they charge? Pad Split does?
Say that again.
Do you have any idea what kind of fees they charge? What kind of split for Pad
I'm
Split?
not sure, but Eddie said it's a little bit better than Airbnb, I believe is what he said. I think
Okay.
Eddie's died. I think he was on his phone because I tried calling him, so his phone he might be charging it. But I believe he did say that it's better than the Airbnb management, I believe, like pricing wise.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is cool because you have the opportunity to be able to manage the properties, right? Or not. Just like how people have businesses where they solely just have Airbnb management properties. I'm sure that out there somebody will create, a third party management company for pad splits. I'm sure that's what people will do as well. Jason, you said you heard 12%. Okay, maybe 12% gross. I'm sure the gross rent is what they'll take.
That doesn't seem bad for all that they're offering, for all the extras.
Yeah. Well, also it's nice because you get the extra rooms. Oh, there's Eddie. You get those extra
Hey, I'm
rooms.
back. Sorry, my signal went out on that.
I figured, man. Don't worry, somebody spotlights you. Yeah, that was juice, bro. We love it. Everything
I
was
know. I was like, man, I was in my bag too.
fired up, bro. I was fired up, writing down pages worth of notes.
Good. I feel like I was responding back to somebody's question right when it cut off. So I don't know if you jumped in and answered it.
You were answering my questions, but you finished. You were good. I got my
Okay.
answer. Yep.
Okay, cool.
They just wanted to
Cool.
Judy did want confirmation, but I think Jason said it in the side for like management fees. If you worked with pad split, you said it was roughly 12% of the gross rent.
Yeah, it's actually more than that. So it's like I think it's 14. It's 14.75. So Paspit takes 12%, and then they have a processing fee. They use Stripe, and Stripe is 2.75. So with that being said, if you wanted to self-manage, you can, right? Save that 14%. Like I'm not saying everybody should go this route. What I am saying is it's another tool you need to have so you can learn how to pivot. In case that opportunity comes up, you can utilize it, because the amount of rent that you get on pad split surpasses long-term rent. Think about it. It just makes sense, right? So in a certain situation, it may be better to turn this property into a pad split than it is to lose a deal because it doesn't cash flow on a normal cash flow basis, right? And we'll talk about that in a second, because I want to really break down. I know a lot of people here, and Carlos, I know you teach a lot on creative financing, so I really want to show you guys like my sneak play, right? Which is we're gonna get into it, because I want you guys to get the juice. Like I want to be able to hear, especially by the time I come back, like, yo, yeah, I'm working on my third one right now, boom, boom, because Passport is gonna get bigger, but the more of us that are doing it, the better it is for the industry. Right. Like this isn't one of those things where it's like, oh, let's hurry up and get it before everybody else jumps in. There is way more properties than any one person can handle. And there's definitely way more people that needs the properties. So this isn't one of those things. But if you understand it, you can jump in right now and eat crazy, especially on the creative side. I do want to answer a question I saw in the chat, which was what does the ratio need to be? So it's 4 bedrooms to every 1 bathroom.
Wow. Okay.
So that's the ratio. 4 bedrooms, every 1 bathroom.
4 beds.
All right. So Carlos, I'm gonna let you mind the chat if something comes up.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the acquisition part. So how do you find deals, or what deals make the most sense? There's a few key things that you should look out for. First things, stay out of HOAs. No. So if there's 4 rooms can share 1 bathroom. That's basically the what I'm trying to say.
Carolina, were you saying like, oh, what about if you have a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom? That'll still work. You get me?
Oh, okay, yeah. If you
I was
have a
just saying, like, if
4-bedroom,
you're looking at a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom, like, will this work? Yes, you just have more
yes,
rest. That's all.
yeah. So what you would do, there's several things you could do. It depends on how much square foot is in your property and if you can actually get the layout so that it makes sense, right? You don't want to have it look kind of crazy where it's like, because remember you're pulling up walls, right? So you don't want it to be like a maze to get to a room or something like that. You need it to make sense still. But let's just say you didn't and you just rented out each one for okay, so the minimum required for baths. Well, what I would tell you guys is make sure you start with a 3-2. 3-2 is probably going to be your best bet because typically a 3-2 is going to have the starting square footage that you need, and a 3-2 will typically get you to at least 5 bedrooms. You can at least add 2 more bedrooms, right? Now this is important because numbers wise, it doesn't make sense unless you're at 5 bedrooms or higher. Think about it this way. 3 bedrooms rent is going to take care of whatever your mortgage PITI is, right? No, it's not messy. What I can do, Carlos, I'll send you. No, this is gonna be perfect. What I'll do for everybody that's on here, I'll send it to Carlos. I'll send you guys some properties that we had the camera come in, the 3D camera, so the whole Barbie dollhouse type of look, right? The Porter, Matterporter thing. And you can actually take a virtual zoom of the property. So you can see how these rooms look, how the hallways look. It's very clean. The way it's done is done correctly, right? But yes, so to kind of go back on what I was saying is you don't want any HOAs. Let's go back. If you had 4-bedroom, 4-bath, and you just wanted to leave it as is, you can do that and you just charge more because each bedroom has its own dedicated bathroom, right? Bigger rooms that have a bathroom dedicated to it, they get charged more for, all right? So again, stay away from HOAs. Josh just said the second thing I was going to talk about, parking. You have to make sure that if you like, all right, bet I got this one house, I'm about to make it to a 10-bedroom. You can definitely do that. There are 10 bedrooms that are on pass split, but you have to make sure that you can provide adequate parking. So how do you go about that? There's different ways to do it. If there's street parking, you don't really have much to worry about. If you have like a driveway, you got to make sure your driveway can have enough space where you can have 10 people with cars in there. Now, again, there's different ways you can do that. Let's say my driveway can only hold 4 cars comfortably, but I have 10 rooms. That means in my filtering process, talking to PassSplit, I'll let them know, hey, listen, the people that's going to stay in this particular property, only 4 of them can have vehicles. Everybody else can only be able to stay in here if they do not have a car, which means they take public transportation. And there are people that run their business that way and have absolutely no problem. One of the kicker is, remember, there you go, she just said it. You got to find something that is close to public transportation. Okay. I was told a good rule of thumb is to find a property that is going to be, let's call it 15 minutes or less walking distance to the nearest public transportation. Right? Now, is that important if you only have a property that's going to be towards individuals who have cars? No, it's not important at all. But it's better if you are close to it, because now you can take on people with cars or people who don't have cars. Judy, where are you at? You said you don't have public transportation. Are you in Florida?
Michigan.
She's in Michigan. Okay.
Michigan.
So Judy, you would be one of the ones that I would say is, all right, perfect. Let's talk about parking, right? Do you have street parking? If you don't, okay, what does your driveway look like? I know some people who had space in the back of their property and it wasn't doing anything. So what they did is they just put gravel on the back, and now the people who live in the house have space to be able to drive through the driveway, go to the back, and park their cars in the back.
Nice.
Right. So it's different ways to be able to do that, to be able to provide, what's necessary, what's needed for your people that stand at your house. So those are the three main things I would say look out for. No HOAs. What's the parking? Is there public transportation nearby? A fourth one that I would tell you is, again, the top two is important. The other three and four that the fourth one I'm about to give you right now, this is more cherry on top. It makes your house more appealing. Okay. So remember what I said. Majority of people who can't afford this are people who are getting paid $20 or less. Okay. These are your teachers. These are your barber shop owners, restaurant working, those type of individuals. They're not getting paid enough money to be able to afford more, right? So this is going to benefit them. So one of the things that you want to do, one of the trackers that PadSplit uses is making sure that there's a bunch of restaurants near your location. Why is that important? Well, if there's a bunch of restaurants, that also means there's probably a bunch of stores. It's probably maybe there's a school or something. Exactly. There's jobs, right? If you set up a property in the middle of public transportation, parking, jobs, no HOA, people will fight to move into your property. And that's what you want. You want to have something that people are attracted to. You have a beautiful 6-bedroom in the middle of West Bumble or whatever. That's great, but how is that going to benefit people who are suffering from affordable housing, right? It doesn't give them access to it, so it doesn't work.
Right.
All right.
That makes
so
sense.
Here's the tip. I recommend, if you know how to do creative financing, here's how everybody else is doing PadSplit. They're finding properties online, whether they got to fix it up or it's already kind of fixed up, and they're buying it cash or creative or whatever, right? And then they're putting it on PadSplit. Some people, what they're doing is, if they're buying a property that needs to get fixed up, they'll fix it up and then do a refinance. And then once the refinance is done, then they'll put the walls up.
Okay.
And then they'll turn it into a PadSplit. So they pull the money out, then they turn it into a PadSplit, right? You don't want to turn it into a PadSplit and then try to do a refi, because PadSplits, rooming houses, you can't get a refi on those type of things. Now you can get you can do a DSCR type of loan, because they'll look at it from a whole different standpoint of view. But I would go after the bank money first, right? Now, that's one way to do it. The other way, like I said, is just buying it straight off on the market, already fixed up. Then you could put the walls up, etc. The fix and flip, that's the second way. The third way, which is, I think, is genius, is you find properties that you can buy creatively. Because if I can buy a property where I'm taking over the mortgage, I'll give you guys a great example. I have a property now, a friend of mine just reached out to me, and we were talking about it for PadSplit. It would be 0% interest. I'll be taking over the mortgage, paying out his equity, needs about $30,000. So essentially, I'll be buying this property for $30,000. Let's say I can put up 3 rooms in this property, 5, 10, 15. So now I'm into this property, what? Let's see who's paying attention. 30 plus 15. Is anyone building new for this? Yes. There's a bunch of people that are building new properties for these. Yeah, they actually building it for PadSplit straight up. Yes, perfect. Thank you. 45, right? So now I'm basically all in 45. Let's call it 50 just for, shits and giggles. Okay. So I'm all in this property for 50,000, and I turn it into a PadSplit. my cash on cash return is ridiculous.
Fire. That's what I was gonna bring up. Like the entry fee could probably go up now more. Now I can go back and look at deals when they're saying, hey, I need a little bit more money. This is what I like, because now you could identify, even some of you guys right now, who you could now go back on a property that you've identified this may work, right? And now you're like, wait, but that homeowner needed, 15, maybe they needed 10 or 12%, and you still needed closing costs, and you still needed, to put the walls up, and then, your fee, and you're like, nah, this is dead. This is just too much money down, right? Now, maybe it might make sense if you look at it and can make it work on a pad split. Now that higher entry fee could make sense because your cash on cash, your yield.
Pivot, baby. Pivot. That's all it is.
We're going to show you guys how to look at these deals. I'm telling you, we're going to show you how to look at these deals and get them.
Yeah, we most definitely will. And the market is beautiful for that right now, right? Like low equity or absentee owners, like this pre-foreclosures, like you can come in and gobble these type of properties up. Now, I would still stay true to, you got to find whatever your like defining strategy is, right? So for me, my defining strategy is, if all else fails, I can still make money turning this into a regular rental, right? Yeah. So if you want to go out and get deals, don't make it so that, okay, pad split is the only option. Have a backup, right? I just think that's smart investing, because you just never know. Like, let's say pad split doesn't go away, but I don't know, you pissed off the wrong lady in the neighborhood or something. I don't know, whatever, right? Whatever can happen could possibly happen. Okay, cool. So you change it from a pad split to a midterm rental. You're still getting money out here, right? And you still get the property is still yours. You still get all the other benefits, right? That's the beauty of this, right? But if you pigeon foot it into like, it's either pad split or nothing, that's a very dangerous game. But hey, if you like it, I love
it. That's funny. Yeah, I was telling them about, like, I know that a lot of investors, when they look at short-term rentals, like, they don't want to still buy a property that's negative 400 on a long-term rental. They want to at least break even and then look at it as a short-term rental in case of rainy day. You need to just rent it out. You're not losing money. Yeah, I actually locked up a deal like that up north in California, where their payment was $2,800, and though we're doing an Airbnb on it, the market rent was $2,500. So I bought it like hybrid. And I have them in second position on a silent position, or not even a silent position. They're paying me $300 a month to clear out their mortgage, because I was so new. This was one of my first deals. I didn't know. I was, oh shit, the market rent's only $2,500, but your property's $28, but it could work for Airbnb. And I didn't know that, I could have gave her more because I was so new. It was like one of my first deals. So I locked it up where the homeowner's paying me $300 a month to clear out her mortgage. Crazy. So instead of even breaking even, I'm actually having them pay me. But here's the structure I did. I said, since they were also landlords and stuff like that, they just needed some help. I told them that I would reimburse them every $300 paycheck they gave me when I ballooned them and matched them the 3.2% rate that they had. And so every $300 they paid me each month was also an expense for them to write off. And so we made it awesome.
I love that.
Real strategic last year when we did that one. But yeah, it makes sense for you to at least look at it and, hey, does it break even? You obviously want it to cash flow out long term, but if it doesn't, you at least don't want it to be negative. So then you don't, on a rainy day or while you're getting it ready and things like that, you're like just bleeding out or losing money.
Yeah, for sure. And then the other thing is this too, right? Like I saw, I think it was Judy that said, like, she doesn't have, Michigan doesn't have public transportation. Let's say you're not in a position where you can get one of these type of properties, right? Squat up, right? If you have capital, take your capital and partner with somebody. And now, how before, like, you would want to partner with somebody, or somebody may want to partner, but you'd be like $400 cash flow. That's not a lot. What, we splitting $200 a month each? That's no investor wants to get involved in that. Okay, but if we're splitting, $1,500 each, net. So when I look at everything I look at is creative finance, everything, right? Yeah. So when I do my numbers, I go PITI minus all my other expenses for running it as a pass split, okay, minus my private money lender equals net, right? So if my net is, 1,100 because we brought in 3,000 a month off of these five rooms that we have in here, and I'm splitting 1,100 with my private money lender, and now we're partners on a deal, so they essentially would have ownership in the property as well, so that would be a private money partner. Or you have some people that don't want that; they just want to lend the money and have it come back. Private money lender, and you can split it. It's so many ways you can be creative, pivot, right, and still be able to get ahead and prosper in this space without allowing the limitations that you may have around you to stop you.
Wow, bro, there's such a fire Zoom. That's some crazy. That's just crazy knowledge, bro. I love this. I'm excited, bro. We're gonna run this one up this year.
Oh, absolutely. So look, I'm actually, hold on, Caroline. Who is building for new pass splits, or are they ideal house plans that you can share? So remember what I told you guys, pass split is new, right? It's 5 years young. Okay. So there isn't necessarily here's the standard. And also you gotta look at it, they're in different markets, right? Atlanta, Nevada, Arizona. They just opened up Miami. They're in Tampa. They're in a bunch of different markets, and they're only going to get bigger. So there isn't quite yet where you can be like, hey, if you're in, Nevada, the average house in Nevada looks like this, and so this is what the standard is. That hasn't been developed yet. So there isn't a standard, but the benefit to combat that is first of all, once you kind of go through them, you'll start to be like, oh yeah, okay, I already know, right? It's almost like, you do your first fix and flip, you're like, where does the door go, right? You're kind of all over the place. By the time you're at your fifth, sixth fix and flip, right? You're like, I got this. I kind of know how this works. So it's the same thing with pass split, right? You kind of figure out the setup. You'll walk into a house and you'll be able to see okay, this could be a room, this could be a room. But one of the things that I do is I'll send you guys some of those links. I'll give it to Carlos, and he'll make sure you guys get it, where you can look at other people's houses and see how they have it set up and give you a better understanding of it. And then the other thing too is, I don't want none of you guys to be like, man, but I got so many questions. Pass split will walk you through all the steps. All you have to do is find the property, right? You find the property. Pass split will bring a contractor to the property. They'll walk it with you. They'll show you, hey, no, you don't want to put a wall on that side because X, Y, and Z. You should put it right here. Boom, boom, boom. By the time you do that 3 or 4 times, now you're the one that's showing people how to do it, right? So it's definitely worth it. Nothing to be afraid of, but there are definitely people that are building brand new. Willie said his mayor came to his city and he owns a few in a small town. Yeah, I'm telling you. So there's the largest owner in pass split has, I think, 200 units. Well, I said units, multifamily, 200 houses. Okay, he's making a killing.
That's a killing, bro.
But here's the other thing: the I haven't met this guy yet, but the guy's a billionaire. So I was like, oh, okay, you're making even more money. Nice, right? Yeah. But if a billionaire is doing this,
right?
What are we even talking about, Carlos?
Well, I can imagine the yield. I can imagine the yield. The more successful you are, the crazier your yields can be, especially when you work your deals. The reality is you got some people who invest in stocks, right? They don't do any knowledge. They throw some money in there. They get 7, 8, 9% minus your broker fees. You get 4 or 5%. This billionaire is probably getting 2, 3, 400 times on his money, on his cash on cash. In 1 year, gets his money out. Sometimes if they're buying them creatively or all cash, it's depending on it. I can imagine if imagine you getting a nice house and you only needed 30 grand down within your first year, you're cashing out 100%, infinite return after that.
Infinite return. You even if you brought a property that's ready to go, turnkey, right? Already a pass split, you brought it from somebody. you can still walk away with 8-9% cash on cash return.
Yeah, still fire, bro. That's beauty.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's and then again, if you throw creative on it, creative to me is just that fire. Like you throw creative on anything, it just infinitely turns better. So that's really how you gotta look at it, right? Like, you know, what's the benefit, right? Why am I doing it? And can I participate or can I partner with somebody who's participating, right? Can I make money in that way? The number one thing is just if you do something, right? You're gonna get in, jump in. If you don't jump in, throw your money in with somebody. If you don't throw your money in with somebody, do something else, right? Passport is not the end all be all. It's a million different ways to be able to get on this. Just to kind of give you guys some insight, in Atlanta, the second largest owner as far as numbers of houses is a guy that I met the other day. And he has, I think, 12. Now he's been with Passport since I think a year or two, right?
12,
so
you said?
12.
He's the second one with the most?
In Atlanta, yeah.
Atlanta.
There's another lady that I know. She just got 10, and yeah, she just got 10. She's been with them since the beginning. She just got 10. She's pretty much like, she retired herself, retired her husband. They live overseas now.
What?
Passport is the whole thing from, and she's not even buying anymore. She's like, yeah, I'm good at 10. She retired herself and her husband, and they were making good money.
Wow, that's great.
Right. You gotta look at it. Like the guy that I spoke with, that I said that he has a 10, he has one property that brought him 100K last year.
Holy crap.
Net. That's not, let me clear my mic. Net.
Damn.
That's after the bills were paid. One of his properties brought him 100K.
Bro, you gotta make like $8,500 net a month to be making that 100. That is what's up, man. That's
right.
I'm
so
fired up, man.
Again, great. Yeah, we need to hammer this. Absolutely. And I'm dedicated. Like Carlos, man, I've said this to you, but I definitely want to say it in front of everybody, man. I just have so much respect for you. You know what you do and how much you bring to the community. Like you're probably one of the biggest go-givers that I know. And I just have a tremendous amount of respect for you. So I will definitely make sure that as soon as this is done, to get back on the books with you. And what we can do for our next meeting, what we can do is we'll bring some deals to the table. We'll talk those deals out. Anybody who has a deal, we'll underwrite the deal. We'll see if it's a good fit for Passport. We'll see if it's the area works, what the numbers look like. We'll go through the whole entire thing. Right. Let me see, what else can I do? And you know what? If depending on the time frame that we do, I'll even have my Passport rep come in the Zoom, and that way anything that we want to drill past her and get some more insight with like that, we can do that too. I know she'll be down to do that.
That sounds fire. And you know what, guys, for the communities and stuff like that, we'll even help you guys identify work these deals, because we want more. So if you want to learn and stuff while you learn, you can come identify them, bring them to the table. We'll work them live. We'll buy them and pay you. And eventually when you're ready to go, maybe we could JV with you too. That's going to be the beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
I want you. We'll put something together. Eddy and I will put something together. We'll do like a training here or there. You'll see us more together, because I want to do more deals with you, Eddy. And it's funny because I just messaged Eddy not too long ago. When you have that one parent that finds out about social media, and then they start finding out how to DM you all these things, just like how everybody does. My mom started DMing me a lot, right? Like more than cold callers cold call, she just DM'd me a bunch of stuff. And randomly she sends me a video of Eddy Charger, and I text my mom, I know that guy, and then I send that message over to Eddy.
Yeah, I saw that. He's like, yo,
that moment when your mom sends you over a massive video that's going viral, and I know the person who made the video.
I was cracking up, man.
And I want to do more deals with you, and I just want to say thank you so much, man. You're a big name in the space on your own in sub 2 in Atlanta. You got a big name, bro. I see you on a lot of flyers, and my hat's off to you and respect to you. and you help out so much more. You've been in the space, and I'm just trying to catch up and help out as well, man. And I want to tag team with you, and I want to do a lot with you, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, bro. We definitely gonna do it. And anytime and anything that you need, obviously for you, you know, just tell me what it is, it's already yours. And for your community, man, they get a green light. Whatever you guys need, you definitely let me know. And
put out your information before we let everybody go, Eddie. How can everybody get a hold of you? You know, whether it's DMing you, social media, and then how can they do deals with you, man?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, thank you for that. I'm on social media. My name, I'm on everything. So Eddy, Eddy, there it is. Last name Charger, Charger. You can find me on YouTube. We're definitely posting some more content. In fact, I got a podcast that Carlos is going to be on. So definitely look out for that episode. It's going to be fire. But yeah, I'm on YouTube, on Instagram. If you guys got anything, definitely shoot me a DM. But just for this group, I'll also give you guys my phone number as well. And you can text me, you know, call, whatever it is like that. Definitely let me know that you got my number from this, because then I'll give you special treatment for sure. You know what I mean? So phone number is 215-989-3780. That's 215-989-3780. And listen, just so that, you know, I want to make sure I'm clear, man. Like, I am a student of this game. Like, I recognize Carlos because I see the work that he's been doing, and it's the same way that I move, right? Like, my CRM is Dustin's CRM. I remember when he was telling me about it months ago, and I was like, dude, you let me know when you drop it. I'm dropping everything that I got, right? To not just show love and support, but because I like rolling and I believe in people who are truly about doing two main things. One, bettering themselves, which is extremely important for me. And two, helping other people, right? So I only like to surround myself around those individuals. And so if you're part of this type of community, I know the caliber, I know the type of cut of cloth that you're cut from, and I would gladly drop everything that I'm doing. Well, not everything, but I'll drop what I'm doing at my most earliest convenience, I should say, to be able to give some help in term that you will be able to get the help that you need. We can make money together, but then you take that same information, you go help somebody else, because that's what's important, right? It's about being able to help other people. And don't think that you need to be, you know, at billionaire status to start helping other people. All that you guys got right now, today, you are 5 years ahead of somebody who's just starting, right? And they can definitely be able to use, you know, your knowledge, leverage what you got, and work with you. And again, the best thing that you guys got, man, is like whenever you get stumped and you're like, oh man, I don't really know how to help this person, you can bring them into this community, bring them into the fold. Like I said, Carlos is probably one of the most go-givers that I know. Dustin, big-hearted individuals, people who have like lives and other things that they have going on, important things, and somehow they still find time to continue to give and give. So I'm glad to be part of that. I'm glad to be in the mix with you guys all here. Thanks for joining me, man. This was really, really dope. I'm doing this on my phone because my internet went out at my home, and there was no way I was going to tell Carlos I can't do this, right? So next time we do this, I'll have the backup internet working and moving, and we'll be able to go through everything and do deals and all this other stuff. It's going to be awesome. I'm so freaking excited for everybody that's on here. It's crazy, man.
Oh, we're gonna crush this, man. And once again, thank you from the powerhouse. Over to you, Eddie. We appreciate you so much, and we'll catch you. Everybody has his information. Get ready in about a month or so, because we have already guest speakers lined up for the next 4 weeks. Eddie will be back in here maybe sometime next month, maybe sometime a little bit later. But I know by that time I'll have some deals he'll have already solidified and performed on the deal, so we can show you the process live. All right,
yep. Let's do it. Peace.
Guys, thank you so much, everybody. Everybody have a good one. Good night. I love you guys. Peace.